Hello everybody, Michael Dinner here from Michael's Gameplays, and we are back with another Let's Learn, that's what they're called. Yeah, I thought of that genre off the spot when I was uploading the last video. So the bullfighter, history of the bullfighter seemed to be pretty popular, and I've had a couple of requests to do a similar video again. This time I'm going to be doing it on the Hawker Hurricane. I'm going for a slightly different approach this time. Last time I looked for information on each individual aircraft, and it took me a hell of a long time because some places didn't really specify what aircraft it was, so I didn't want to include that in case it was for the wrong type of aircraft, so I missed out on quite a bit of information. So this time I'm basically just going with basic general hurricane history type thing, like anything and everything. Well, not everything, because that would take forever, but I've got a fairly decent amount of information, 739 words to be precise, but that is kind of paraphrased slightly. But anyway, let's just get straight into it. So, the Hawker Hurricane was the most popular World War II British fighter plane. Hurricane was the result of the Hawker Company's efforts to create a monoplane fighter based on one of the best biplane fighters of the time, which was the Fury. The Hurricane turned out to be a reliable, easy to manage and agile fighter. Its survival rate was high and it became well loved by its pilots. The Hurricane was ordered into production in June of 1936, mainly due to its relatively simple construction and ease of manufacture. All in all, 14,533 of these aircraft were built. That includes all the different variations of that aircraft. First 50 Hurricanes reached squadrons by the middle of 1938. At the time, production was slightly greater than the Royal Air Force's capacity to introduce the new aircraft, and the government gave Hawkers the clearance to sell the excess to nations that are likely to oppose the German expansion. The Hurricane had its baptism of fire. I believe I just quoted that exactly because I don't know, it sounded cool and I wasn't wanting to word it wrong, but I believe that is just its first combat experience. Well, obviously it would be because it talks about shooting down planes and shit. But yeah, so it had its first taste of combat on October 21st, 1939. That day, A flight of 46 Squadron took off from North Coast. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. I think it's just Coats, but it's got an E after the word coat. So yeah, I'm just going to go with Coats. So, took off from North Coats Satellite Airfield on the Lincolnshire coast and was directed to intercept a formation of 9 Heinkel, I think it's Heinkel, or maybe it's Heinkel, Heinkel HE-115B float planes searching for ships to attack in the North Sea. The Hurricanes, in rapid succession, shot down 4 of the enemy, and I believe the Spitfires that were there also shot down the other 5. Both the Supermarine Spitfire and the Hurricane are renowned for their part in defending Britain against the Luftwaffe. Generally, the Spitfire would intercept the German fighters, leaving the Hurricanes to concentrate on the bombers. But despite the undoubted abilities of the Spitfire, it was the Hurricane that scored the higher number of RAF victories during this period. I think it was about 55% to 42%, something like that. As a fighter, the Hurricane had some drawbacks. It was slower than both the Spitfire Mark 1 and Mark 2, and the Messerschmitt, I believe is how you pronounce it, Bf 109E, and the thick wings compromised the acceleration, but it could outturn both both the Spitfire and BF-109. In spite of its deficiencies against BF-109, the Hurricane was still capable of destroying the German fighter, especially at lower altitudes. If a 109 was caught in a dogfight, the Hurricane was just as capable of outturning the 109 as the Spitfire would be. The Hurricane was a steady gun platform and had demonstrated its ruggedness, as several were badly damaged yet returned to base. But whilst it was sturdy and stable, the Hurricane's construction made it dangerous in the event of the aircraft catching fire. Wooden frames and fabric covering the rear fuselage meant that fire could spread throughout the rear fuselage and structure quite easily. In addition, the gravity fuel tank in the forward fuselage sat right in front of the instrument panel, without any form of protection for the pilot. Many of the Hurricane pilots were seriously burned as a consequence of a jet of flame which could easily burn through the instrument panel. This became such a concern to Hugh Dowding, the commander of the Royal Air Force Fighter Command, who was also born in Scotland. That's another wee thing that I found interesting. I thought I'd throw that in there for you. But yeah, he had Hawker retrofit the fuselage tanks of the Hurricane with a fire-resistant material called Linatex, spelled Linatex. Not exactly Not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's Linatex. Anyway, the Hurricane was the first Allied Lend-Lease aircraft to be delivered to the USSR, with a total of 2,952 Hurricanes eventually being delivered, becoming the most common British aircraft in Soviet service. Although the Soviet pilots were disappointed by the Hawker fighter, regarding it as inferior to both German and Russian aircraft. Enemy attention to the area declined in October, at which point the RAF pilot, RAF, when I say RAF I mean Royal Air Force, so yeah. The RAF pilots trained Soviet counterparts to operate the Hurricanes themselves, and by the end of the year the RAF's role ended, but the aircraft remained behind and became the first of thousands of Allied aircraft that were accepted by the Soviet Union. So that's something that I didn't know either. Soviet Union also flew in Hurricanes. Now on to some specifications of the two Hurricanes that are in War Thunder. First off, we've got the Mark 1 Hurricane. It had an engine, obviously. That's not how that was supposed to be read. The engine that it had was Rolls-Royce Merlin 2 or Rolls-Royce Merlin 3, giving 1,030 horsepower to achieve a speed of 335 miles per hour. I'm not sure exactly what that is in kilometers per hour, but I'm pretty sure somebody will be able to work it out and post in the comments, so yeah. The wingspan of just over 12 metres and a length of 9.5 metres, and it had a height of 4 metres. It was armed with 8 7.7mm machine guns that were mounted on the wings. And that's all the specs I've got on the Mark 1. So Mark 2B, it was fitted with a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. Doesn't say what one it was, but yep, Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. I'd imagine it would be the third one, because that would be more superior to the second one, but I don't know. Anyway, that gave off 1,300 horsepower, and that would allow the plane to travel up to 350 miles per hour. Again, don't have kilometers per hour. Wingspan, I've only got this in feet and inches because there was no meters. But anyway, had a span of 40 feet, length of 32 feet 3 inches, and a height of 13 foot and 3 inches. It was armed with 12 7.7 machine guns. They were all mounted on the wings as well. It could also be armed with 2 500-pound bombs or 2 250-pound bombs, or it could have 8 60-pound rockets. So, yeah, that is all the information I've got on two aircraft. Hopefully you've learned something from this. I know that I definitely did. It was fun to look up the information, learn a wee bit of the history behind the aircraft. Obviously there's not a hell of a lot of information here. There was some stuff that I just left out because I'm trying to keep the video to a decent length. But let me know what you think of this video. Like again, I've been trying to mix them up and get so it's a kind of perfect combination of information about the planes, information regarding the history of the planes, you know, stuff that is done in the past. Let me know if you preferred the first video better or this video better, because I'm still working on it. But yeah, if you did enjoy this video, then leave it a like. If not, say in the comments what you didn't like about it, tell me how to change it, and I will definitely do that. But just going to wrap this up. Again, I've not got a video for it, so if there's gameplay then I'll just let it continue playing. If there's no gameplay then hopefully there will be, because I don't want to be talking over a black screen. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Bye.
The enemy. They're winning. We've lost. But next time,